What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. As always, I am Camtastic, and this is the In Response podcast, where every other week, 3, sometimes 4, sometimes 0 friends gather around their desks to update you on the goings on in cEDH world and our personal journeys throughout the format. Joining me this week is Julian, the Magician MTG. How's it going, Julian?
Not too bad, not too bad. Excited for our interview.
Me too, me too. Which brings us on to our very, very special guest this week. We have the Cardboard Cookbook themselves. Adriel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys so much for having us. It's a pleasure.
Super excited. And JJ, welcome. How are you doing, my man?
What's up? What's up? I'm doing pretty good. Truly honored to be here.
Awesome. Remember, you guys can always tune in live on YouTube or on Twitch every other Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Or if you happen to miss out on the show, don't sweat it. You can watch us later on YouTube or give us a listen and follow wherever you get your podcasts. But for now, it's time for the show. All right, my friends, I'm so excited to have you guys. It's been a long time coming. The cookbook and the In Response crew, it's been a brewing. So,
Yes, sir.
would you gentlemen like to introduce yourselves formally?
Sure. My name is Adriel Gonzalez. I'm one half of the Cardboard Cookbook. You can find us anywhere where you get your entertainment, YouTube, Instagram, maybe a TikTok, maybe a Twitter.
OnlyFans?
Not yet.
That's where I come in with the feed pics.
That's
You
right.
don't want to see them. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Awesome. And the other half of the cookbook, would you like to introduce yourself as well? I know I did an introduction.
Sure.
but
I didn't know if the feed pics was too much. I'm kidding. My name's
Never
JJ.
too
What's
much.
going on? I am I'm the other half of the cookbook. Yeah. Honestly, it's been an honor. We've experienced a lot of growth pretty early on, and we're just so happy that everyone's been loving the stuff that we've been putting out.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
We love it
we
here.
have too.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
love it.
Oh, yeah.
We eat your content up, pun intended.
Oh, thanks, man.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
So let's dive right into it. So, gentlemen, would you
Let's
like
do
to, explain your personal journeys through cEDH? We had Zach Adler on with the on the podcast, and he gave us a rundown of everything that he went through and what got him into the cEDH world. Why don't you guys give us a dive into your perspectives and your journeys?
Sure. JG, you want to start?
Sure. Yeah, I'm what they call an older head. I'm not really an old head, but I've been playing for about maybe like 6 or 7 years, which is embarrassing because I don't, I still play like I'm just figuring out what the cards do, but I have a lot of fun. I first got introduced to it because I was originally playing a lot of Hearthstone, and I more or less was like a semi-pro in that. Like I would always qualify to go to like PAX Southwest and stuff, so I would like get flown out there, whatever. But every time I would go out there, I would always shit the bed. RNG is a son of a bitch, and
Oh yeah.
eventually I just needed to move on, do something else. I had a lot of friends that did it, and then eventually all those friends went away, and it was just kind of me sitting alone in a room, just like grinding this ladder, and it was very lonely and boring. So I wanted to take my experience with card games and shift somewhere else. So a lot of people were like, "Oh, have you tried Magic?" I said, "No, I haven't." So I walked into one of my local LGSs a long time ago, and the rest is history. I got into playing standard as most do, and then I figured out set rotations happen and they suck. So
Oh,
people
yeah.
introduced me to Commander. They're like, "Oh, this is how you could use a lot of the cards you've bought, and nothing's really out of rotation here. So come have some fun, dive in, and honestly, the rest is history. I got into it, and it's been a lot of fun ever since. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hell yeah,
Nice.
dude.
Got a
Yeah.
question about your Hearthstone days. Were
What's up?
you like a brawl warrior? Were you a warlock zoo player? Were you a
No,
free?
I
Were you a
kind of.
dragon mage?
No, I would definitely say more of like a control warrior style. I'd love to gain a
Warrior.
bunch of armor and just beat him with fatigue. That was like my favorite way to win the game.
Oh,
Yeah, the games
God.
did take 45 minutes, but it was worth it in the end.
Is that like stacks? Is that like Hearthstone stacks?
It's not. No, it's basically like almost like Tivit.
Oh,
You
okay.
just keep clearing the board, and then
Yeah.
they have nothing in hand, and you're just like, cool. Like, you want to keep playing this game? Sick. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they would just
Yeah,
have
it was,
nothing.
yeah,
They would have
you
nothing.
basically just gained 2 life every turn and just kept the board clear until a point in which the opponent had nothing left.
Literally nothing left.
Sounds about right. You're like the most like prevalent Esper player I know. Like I actually I have a friend who was on your Marnius list when you first started Marnius, and this was back before you
Sure,
did the
yeah.
cookbook. I have another friend who's currently on your Ishtola list right now. I was going to tell you that later. That
Sure.
yeah, they're trying that out and stuff.
Fun
So
list.
you're quite the Esper influencer out here, man.
Yeah. Especially
And
in
if I do
response to like all
change,
these creature decks.
yeah, and if I do change, I do want to talk to you about Malcolm Timna.
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely been a work in progress. It's definitely taken a turn for the better, in my opinion. And yeah, I think it's in a pretty good spot right now. But yeah, always willing to talk about other things and different strategies and stuff, especially with the more and more cards that are coming out.
Sweet.
Oh yeah.
Adriel, how about you? How did you get in?
Boy, let's see. I started playing Magic in the Mirrodin block when I was much younger, and I played it all basically from like, I don't know, 4th grade all the way up until I graduated high school. I went to college and was like, hey, I got to be serious about life now. I'm going to stop playing this. So I'm trying to think of when that was. That was probably right at the end of the Time Spiral block. So it might have been like Planar Chaos or something of that nature. Is when I stopped, right? Maybe probably like right before Innistrad. Um, and I didn't play for a number of years. Finished college, came back to LA, and kind of started playing again. Didn't really play seriously, and it wasn't until really COVID, where a buddy of mine who I hadn't seen in many years was like, "Hey, come hang out. We're gonna play Magic. It's gonna, come to my house for my birthday." And I was like, "All right, cool, sounds good." He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna play Commander," and I was like, "What is that, dude? I'd
Yeah.
never heard of this format before, ever." Right? Like to me, there
Yeah.
was just two people sitting and grinding against each other, and that was it, right? 20 life, and
Bound
the
chicka wow
rest is
wow.
Yeah,
yeah, and the
right.
rest is history, man. So when he said that there was like a format with like 100 card deck and like 4 or 3 other people, I was like, well, that sounds kind of wild. And I tried it, and truth be told, like I didn't like love it at first, because I don't know, I got the growing sentiment that like, especially in a casual setting, like I don't know, coming from a 60 card mindset, like yeah, the point of the game is to win, and like in a lot of casual Commander, it's like that's not necessarily the case. Like you kind of just
No.
there to have a good time, hang
Have
out,
fun.
let people
Yeah.
have fun, let people do their thing, like and have like janky brews or whatever. And like I was always trying to like make the most broken combo deck of all time because that's like what I did when I played Standard and I went to RCQs in like high school, right? So then naturally I was like, well, there has to be a more high powered version of this thing, right? Like, do people play Commander competitively, right? And what does that look like? And so I went online and typed in cEDH and found cEDH TV, and
Nice.
here I am like a year later, dude. So yeah.
That's crazy. A year later, that's it? That's all you've been
Yeah.
doing this for?
Yeah, I think I've been doing it for about like maybe a little bit more, a year and some change. But yeah, it started
Okay.
last year. I started playing cEDH last year.
That's awesome.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
actually
realize that because that's when I met you
we
like
actually
last year.
first met. Yeah, we
Yeah.
actually first met in a tournament game, right? He was playing Kinnan, I was playing I think Timna something or other. I forget what I was playing,
You were
and
playing
he's just there jamming Kinnan.
lands. You were playing
Oh, I was
what are
playing
the
Tatiova,
lands?
wasn't I?
Tatiova, that's right.
Oh, but
You were playing
Yeah, I was in
Tatiova.
I was in an experimental stage in my cEDH life, which is always. No, yeah, I remember we were in a game and Adriel had played like a Trinisphere because Kennen big flips didn't really give a shit.
Mhm.
And I look at him and I was like, please don't play this fucking Trinisphere. And he's like, that's what I'm playing. And I was like, please don't. So I had to counter it or something. And I was like, dude, I have to counter this because I can't counter other people's stuff. Like Sissy's about to go off, this, that, and the other. He's like, yeah, whatever. Like I'm still gonna do it. I'm like, all right, here's a delay or whatever the hell I played. And then the Sissy ended up winning. And I remember afterwards, like, because people come up to you and he's like, oh, so how'd your game go? How'd your game go? And I was like, oh man, this fucking Kinnan player played a Trinisphere. And then Adriel heard me and he looked over and he's like, hey. And I wasn't mad or anything. And I was just like, hey, you, get over here. And then we just kind of like, broed out and like just started talking about the game. And literally like the rest is history. I said, hey, where do you live at? Where do you practice at? And he was like, practice? He's like, no, I live like, in LA, but I don't really come out and practice. So I was like, oh, well, come by our local game store here in LA and come get in some games. And he was like, okay. And then, yeah, the rest after that, dude, we just became really good friends, and it just sort of naturally evolved into this amazing friendship that me and him share to this day. It's been great.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad that it
Yeah.
happened because now we have the cookbook because of it, right? So
Yeah.
Oh, honestly, it's been pretty crazy. It's been a
super
crazy
cool.
journey.
Super cool. Well, that kind of
I know.
segues me into the next question. I don't know which one of you guys want to take the reins on this one and answer first, but what made you guys want to make content?
That's a good question.
It's the only kind we ask, baby.
I was gonna say we only ask those kind.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think it was kind of just a natural extension of like what I do for work anyways. I'm a cinematographer and a filmmaker like by trade, so that's what I do for my day job, and I love magic. So I've always wanted to, do a YouTube channel as like an experiment and as an experimentation of just like something that I love to do just as a job and as a hobby anyways. And so put the two together, and that's kind of why we're here. I know JJ had expressed the sentiment of like having wanting to do this for like a very long time. And yeah, I just found myself kind of like work was slow. The strikes, I'm not sure, if anyone that's watching, there was a huge amount of strikes here in Los Angeles in the film industry, and that affected work for most of us. And I just found myself with a lot of free time, and I was like, why not, dude? So yeah, here we are.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was asking because I obviously knew what Adriel did for a living, so I kept coming up to him. And I was like, "Hey, Adriel, is this a good camera? Hey, Adriel, is this a good camera?" And they were like, "No, it's kind of shitty, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you." And I'm like, "All right, and like, because it's something that I was in talks with a lot of people about because I was like, yeah, we got to do something because like I felt that LA didn't have a lot of good representation,
Yeah.
and because of that, before Zach made a name for himself doing the winning of the Invitational, like the West Coast didn't really have a ground for cEDH really. Like you always heard about the East Coast doing everything, right? Like it's always the East Coast YouTube channels and all these other people, and we're like, we have like some really good players here on the West Coast, but there was no light being shined on us at all. So for the longest time, I was like, there's got to be a way to like showcase what the West Coast has to offer. So that's why I wanted to originally do it. And then I kind of gave up hope. I was like, all right, this is not going to happen. Like I didn't have the time. Still, like I work a 9 to 5, sometimes longer. Like I wake up early in the morning and I just got home like an hour ago. Like I didn't have a lot of free time. And then, out of nowhere, Adriel's like, hey, you talked about doing a YouTube channel. Is that still something you're interested in? I said, well, yeah. And then exactly what Adriel said, he was like, hey, like I got some time, like, like maybe, we could do it together. Like we could try some stuff out, bounce some ideas off of each other. And then it first just kind of started as like a, hey, what about this? What about that? Into this idea of like, oh shit, like we could actually do this, and then, something that I always tell people is I did not know what I was getting myself into because, you see a lot of YouTube channels, right? And it's like two guys sitting in a room and they're like, oh, hey, welcome to our thing. Here's the thing, right? And I thought that's kind of what it was going to be. Like I was going to be in Adriel's office where he is now, and we're just going to be like, hey, what's up? Like we're doing this thing, whatever. So I remember the very first day we went to record our very first intro. I step into Adriel's setup, right? And I was like, what the fuck is all this? And he was like, what? And I was like, bro, you have like all these fucking lights and microphones around. Like we're about to record like a fucking show. And he's like, well, yeah, bro, this is what we're doing. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then obviously, as soon as I saw the very first like intro that we did, I was like, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, what? I was like, this looks really good. Like it looks like we're on the Food Network or something crazy because the quality was by like beyond anything. Like I still trip out about how good it is,
Yeah, your guys' intros like are crispy clean and it looks
That's on him, man.
really
he has
good.
That's all we see
he
in the
has
comment
all
sections.
the know-how.
It's
That's
like
he has all the know-how because that's just what he does for a living, and it's just like I'm just like, holy shit, I had no idea. And he's like, oh yeah, bro, we're doing this. And I
we
was
gonna
like,
do it.
all right. Yeah. So I was like, God damn. But I think that really like right away, like it set us apart from everybody else.
Oh, totally. That's all I see in your guys' comment section is the quality, the quality, 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 quality. Like that's what's bringing people back for more.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. That's such a great story. I'm super glad that that you guys decided to do it, man. It's really awesome. Like I had mentioned before, I met you guys before the cookbook. So as soon as you guys like started dropping content stuff, I was like, oh, this is cool. The homies are dropping some content. And then I started
Yeah.
watching it, and I was like, damn, the homies are dropping some content. So yeah, that's super cool.
Man.
So moving on, next one, JJ, you kind of touched on this, but I'll kind of direct this one towards Adriel. So what is your guys' goal for your content?
Yeah, I think kind of what JJ had talked about. Like, I think the ethos at the at the birth of the channel as an idea, as a discussion, like as a mission statement, was always and has been to kind of put a spotlight on California or just the West Coast in general. And I don't know, just like highlight the fact that like, yeah, we're here too, right? Like you said, like I think so much of cEDH as an idea is centered around the eastern half of our country.
Totally.
And it's really cool, and it was awesome for us to like try and like bring a spotlight to just the little old us over here in California, or even just like Critical EH is doing in Denver, right? Like just showcasing like, hey, like it doesn't just all happen here, right? Like it happens everywhere. And that's cool, man. You know what I mean? I think another part of it is just I think JJ also talked about it with quality. Like for me, specifically as like an ethos of like how I like to operate. It's like if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it like 150% and do it amazing always, with no compromises in that regard. So yeah, I mean, just try and put out the best content out there in terms of cEDH. I mean, why doesn't cEDH have the command zone? Why doesn't cEDH have the professor, right? Like, why don't we have
True.
all of this money and infrastructure and time built around this beautiful thing that we call cEDH? So, to me, the goal would be, it's like, yeah, I mean, the format is obviously growing. That's undeniable. We just had a massive tournament where
yeah.
like 500 and something people were there, and like we've like, I don't know, even when I started, like I didn't hear of anything like that. And
There
hearing
wasn't.
people like JJ and other old heads, yeah, exactly, like that's like a new thing, right? So like it's obviously growing at an expeditious rate, and so you know what I mean, like the infrastructure and the entertainment around it also needs to grow and scale with it in a way, right? So that's kind of the value thesis behind the whole thing, man. Yeah.
That's such a great point. That the scaling with the format itself, like that's GP numbers. Like I competed in GPs that
Yeah.
were like 500 people and stuff like that, and this is not being organized by
Yes.
Wizards, so it's just super
Yes.
impressive. And that wasn't even the Invitational. Obviously, the Invitational is going to have a cap number of people, but like, I mean, you're referring to the Steel City Spectacular, I'm assuming. Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's super cool. And also the California thing. Sorry, not to run on a little bit here, but I wanted to touch on that a little bit before. You're right. Like there wasn't anything in California, for being such a large state. I think that's kind of a downfall of the state is anywhere like we're playing, like if I want to play in a tournament with you guys, I'm driving 3.5 hours. If you want to play in a tournament in the Valley, you're driving 3 hours. If you want to play in a tournament in the Bay, you're driving 6 hours. The state's the size of 3 states, so it's been hard to get everybody together and get everything going. So it's really cool that you guys started the initiative on this and started a community that is rooted in California and in the West Coast, but is spanned so far outside of it.
Yeah, man. 100%.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead, Magician.
So I mean, your guys' journey has been great. You guys have grown really, really rapidly, really quickly, and to a really, really good size. But are you guys able to talk a little bit about like how what did you guys do? What kind of decisions did you guys make to get to where you are now?
Sure. Yeah. I think the most important thing to like, I guess anybody that's listening and like wants to do this as like a thing, that like JJ and I spent probably like 2.5 to 3 months doing market research and planning and making all the graphics and creating like basically a design. It's the same thing we would do in film, right? Like you do your pre-production. And so we basically built like a show Bible is what we would call it in my business. And like basically like a design manifesto of like how everything was going to look, how everything was going to operate, so that like we had all of that decided before the first episode ever rolled out. Like,
yeah, we definitely had a plan of action for sure.
yeah.
Very
And I think
smart.
that's super important. I think that's important, right? Because like, I don't know, like I think maybe part of the reason why we have seen so much success is that it wasn't just like slapped together and we were like, all right, let's figure it out as we go, right? Like we wanted to iron out all of those questions before somebody even pressed play for the first time and someone saw the first video. So that was really, really
Yeah.
important for us.
And we got a lot of positive feedback from that actually, because I remember when we first, like maybe our first or second episode, I remember I was like talking to like a bunch of people in a random Facebook group, right? Just kind of like pandering to crowds, right? Like, hey, we just made a channel, you might want to check it out. And this one guy, he was like, oh yeah, I'll check it out. So he checked it out and he's like, dude. I was like, what? He's like, this is your first video? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, no, 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 no. Like usually when you go back to people's first video, the quality is like, maybe they're like 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of thing. Maybe they're just like, hey, we have this idea, let's throw it together, throw shit against the wall and see what sticks. And you see that in a lot of, YouTube channels, no matter how big they are, right? Humble beginnings. And sometimes it's just a guy sitting alone in a room, like, one of us is now talking to a camera, and then 5 years later they have this whole production, and he goes, you guys look like you've been doing this forever, and this is your first video. Like, when people go back and look at your first video, they can't tell it apart from your 100th video because it looks that good. And I was like, that's fucking thank you. Like, I was like, that's great to hear.
High praise.
He's like, yeah, like,
It's true.
knowing that your first video is this, like, that's wild. So I was like, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's true. We agree with it 100%. That was one thing that, again, aside from knowing you guys personally, that was one thing that, like, just like completely, it was like, I knew Adriel did this for a living, but when I saw the video, I was like, hot damn, like the quality, like, and I've done streams and podcasts in the past, and like the number one thing they say is like, just put out content. Like, you need to get to 100 videos quick. Like, don't sit there and like try to make everything perfect and stuff like that. Just put out content. And then I saw you guys doing it, and I was like, damn, dude, like, they're doing both. They're putting out content and it's very high quality. So you guys are really setting a standard, and it's quite impressive. We really, I don't mean to, awe and gawk over you guys ever so much, but like, it really is impressive. Fangirling over here, like, oh my god. But no, it's great. Everything you're saying is true. Everything you're saying is 100% true. Yeah, that's great. We're super excited that you guys have seen the growth that you're seeing and stuff like that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. Like, if you had asked me, like, I would not have expected this, like, at all. You know what I mean? So it's cool. It's nice to see people. It's validating, people connecting with your work, and like, all the hard work that you spend in a dark room editing is like worthwhile. But it's cool, man. It's very fulfilling.
So how's the LA crew been receiving it? How's your local, your LGS, your friends? Obviously your friends are stoked for you, but like the greater LA community, which I know you guys have a big hand in building as well. Like, you're not just players in LA, but you're working towards growing the community. So how have they received the podcast and the episodes, the gameplay, just everything that you guys are putting out there?
Honestly, everyone's been super proud of us, and it's funny because when we first started doing it, everyone was like such a smartass. They're like, "Oh my god, look, it's Adriel and JJ. They've graced us with their presence," and we're like, "Shut the fuck up, dude. We have like 99 subscribers. Get the fuck out of here." But as we've grown, something that I didn't want to happen was people treat us differently, and that hasn't happened, which has been very, like, thank God, because like we work hard, especially Adriel. I'm not gonna. Like Adriel works his ass off doing this because he's editing. I'm learning. I suck with technology. That's my one big downfall. The only big thing I bring to the table is the fact that I know everybody.
And the looks.
So I know when
looks.
I know, well, whatever. But I know that when we first started doing it, I was just like, yeah, let me just start calling everybody. So like, huge shout out to one of my really good friends in the community, Wounded Satellite, Max Sternberg. He was very supportive right out of the gate for us, and he was like, "I'll come on for your first video immediately," and that kind of like catapulted us too, because we already had a big name for day one, which is great. But, it's because I've been in this community for so long, and especially in LA, I was, I'm not. Obviously, it takes a lot for LA to get where it is, but I was kind of like, kind of giving myself this own title, but like I was kind of the kingpin that kind of lured everybody together at first, because when I first got to LA and when I first started playing cEDH with a bunch of different communities and stuff, they were all spread out. There was like people playing in like, Van Nuys, which is like off the 405. There were people playing in like Pasadena, which is like, on the other side of town. There's people playing in Koreatown, and like from what I saw, they were all the same people, but they were like all spread out on different days, like scatter plotting. And I'm like, I just said to myself one day, I'm like, how come we're not all getting together, and like agreeing on like 1 or 2 days just to all meet up? We'll have a bigger practice group and whatever. So I just kind of started pandering to these people. I said, hey, why are we not all just getting together for one break? Instead of playing with the same 4 people that you see with on a Tuesday or a Thursday or whatever. I was like, why don't we all just get together? We'll have at least like 4 pods. And it happened, right? Like everyone's like, oh no, like they were kind of stuck in their ways, but me being me, because I'm in sales by trade, so I kept just bugging people. I said, hey, listen, let's just come together, like let's all meet up at this store on a Wednesday, like you guys are down, you guys are down, you guys are down. And then like certain spaces, especially in LA, we've outgrown because more and more people were getting interested. So we had to kind of take ourselves out of certain stores that were too small. So it was one of those things where we just like I just kept pushing the narrative, and eventually it happened, right? We were getting together at other LGSs, and it was all of us, like, especially on Fridays. That's like our biggest day. Like we'd all get together and we'd have like, I shit you not, like 4 to 5 pods just practicing, which is crazy. But that's because like I was just like literally gathering people up. I said, hey, listen, stop going there on this day, stop going there on that day. Let's just all congregate together and literally have a gathering. And it's just kind of been like that ever since, and when we first started talking about doing the channel, because like like I'll kind of just reiterate what I said before. It's like we wanted to shine a light on a lot of the players that we have in our format. Like Boros Wayne is our local, and like people know who Boros Wayne is because they've made a name for themselves winning with Zerta, which is amazing. Yeah. And when I tell people like, oh yeah, I play against Wayne all the time, they're like, what do you mean all the time? I'm like, yeah, they're our local in LA. They're like, what, you practice against that all the time? And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, we practice against a lot of people that are really good. I mean, I practice against Adriel all the time, but before the channel, right? And it's like, Adriel has always been amazing. Like when he told me how long he's been playing cEDH, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I've only been playing, like at the time, he was like, I've only been playing like a few months. And I'm like, dude, you're hitting top tables. He's like, okay. And I'm like, no, that's a big deal. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, I'm not winning. And I'm like, no, but you're getting to that top table. Like I could barely do that, right? But it's always because I just mess around. But like, yeah, so back to the question. It's like, after everything that like I've done for our local LA community and trying to shed light on everyone and stuff like that, like everybody loves it, right? Like right out of the gate, people have been nothing but supportive. And yeah, we're very blessed to have a very strong community here in Los Angeles, and I honestly couldn't be happier about it.
It's awesome. Well, speaking of
that took so many different tangents.
No, dude, it's awesome. That's what we want. That's what we have you here for, man. Drop, tangent away. Take that train off the tracks. We're just...
It's just like everything that's transpired in my mind has been years in the making to have this kind of success too. Just everything, like getting, and it's growing. Like we have new players even coming into the scene, and something that's strong about cEDH specifically over people trying to get into Magic, where people are playing like tier 3 or 4 or whatever you want to call the bracket system. When they approach us, we're like, oh, it's cEDH, but they're like, ooh. We're like, no, come here. Like, let's have you just kind of practice or whatever. And they're like, okay, I don't have a deck. Like we have plenty. Like I remember I had, yeah, but it's like it's not. It only looks bad, but it's really not. But like there was one big thing that happened to me the other day where I let somebody play my Kinnan deck, and they actually won. It was their very first game they've ever played in cEDH, not in Commander, but in cEDH. I just kind of told them, hey, this is the things you're looking for. Try it out. So they did. They literally won on turn 2, which was, I was like, damn, I wish I had more of that luck in tournaments, But it was like, it was that thing where this guy was like, oh, like, are all these cards real? I said, no, that whole deck's proxy, dude. And they're like, oh, that's what I've heard, that this is a very proxy friendly environment. I said, yeah, 1000%, like,
it's so huge.
You could come to the table with like a fully proxy deck, and as long as we can understand what the cards are, you're fine, and that's the biggest thing that was my takeaway, because he was so like, oh wow, like, the sleeves probably cost more than the deck. And I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. They did. You know, it's like you don't have to have anything. Like, because when I used to play cEDH, there was such like this gatekeeping, overwhelming thing where you couldn't have proxies. So, you know, nobody had an Imperial seal, and the guy that did won every tournament because he had either he's been playing for a long time and he had all the cards, or he just had the money. So it became it. So now, like, what I love about it is it doesn't become okay, who has the bigger wallet. It's who could play the cards the best, you know. And if
Exactly.
that's and it would be a pain in the ass if like you had to have a real card. It's like no one could really experiment. You know, no one could really take a test deck to a tournament because they would have to have all the real cards. So it becomes this thing where it's like, I personally love that the format is fully proxy friendly because you could do whatever the hell you want. You could build whatever deck you want. You could be as creative as you want without having to worry about like, shit, I just spent $600 like building, you know, getting the pieces for this specific deck. Now you don't have buyer's remorse. And that was my problem when I first started playing Commander was like, I was like, oh man, I really want to play this deck because it looks very fun, but I don't have that kind of money. Forget about it. So you're kind of pigeonholed into what you have and what you can potentially save for and certain upgrades that you had to have to take your deck to the next level. So I'm just glad that's not the case anymore.
100%. Yeah, like I used to play Legacy, and that was kind of the whole thing. Was like, we want more players, but our decks cost $8,000. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, proxies is amazing. I agree with you 100%. Before we go any further, I actually wanted, speaking of the LA meta, we have a local chatter here that actually has a question from the live chat. What is the most off meta deck that you guys have seen in LA that actually worked and wasn't just a jank pile puttering around?
Besides Zerta?
Yeah, I was gonna say Zerta.
Zing!
That was where my mind went too.
Zing!
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean
the
like,
deck
yeah,
is
it's,
good. Wayne is
the deck
good
is
with
great.
the deck
Wayne's
is really
great.
good.
Yeah. And
they've
like
been,
you
they've
meant,
been playing the decks forever.
and like you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier, I mean, we'll put an asterisk in. This is the Wayne show for a second, but like, yeah, Wayne's an amazing player. They know how to pilot the deck so well, and they're very well known. Whenever we go to a tournament, I make sure and drop. I'm like, oh yeah, I know Boros Wayne. Like, and they're like, oh hey. Whenever I drop his name, like
Yeah.
everybody just becomes like so much more open and excited because they know them. And yeah, it's a cool thing.
Yeah, being able to meet them at the All Valley and then seeing them play that deck, I was like, wow, this deck is crazy good. But it's
it
like
is really good.
no one else is gonna be able to pilot it as well as they can.
Yeah,
So
That's actually not true. You know, we had a tournament recently at Dave and Buster's where in my round one there was another Zerta pilot, and I was like,
Oh.
huh, okay. And we almost fucking lost like turn 3,
Dude.
and I was like, oh
So we had a tournament here, another follow-up for a local children's hospital. It was a charity tournament thrown by Bird Dog Comics and AAA Cards and Gaming. Shout out. It was called Cards for a Cause. It was a 2K, and there was a Zerta player there that was like, yeah, Wayne's been, you know, they've been my almost like my mentor. Like, they've helped me a lot. They're in the Discord. They're super active and stuff like that. And it's just cool.
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah, it's just super cool seeing that, like, your guys' reach. Like, I know Wayne's part of the crew and stuff like that, and like, it's just, yeah, it's a super cool thing what you guys have done for the community as a whole, even, you know, before and going into this cookbook thing. It's I think California's coming together, and you guys are a large part of that. You know, talking with Zach about it and stuff like that in our last episode, things are trending in a good direction. It seems like there's a storm of brewing. All three parts, NorCal, SoCal, and Central Cal, are kind of coming together. So
We're coming.
yeah,
That's
we're coming for you, East Coast.
We're coming. We're cooking. But I mean, like, you know, I guess to appease the crowd too. I mean, we've seen, at least I have seen a lot of other jank decks that actually work. I mean, Angel, have you seen anything that you can remember where you're like, that there's no way that works, and then out of nowhere
Yeah.
you're like, oh shit.
Any colorless deck.
Oh yeah, we have a lot
Zula
of those too.
Zuladoc,
What's
Ultima?
Urza,
Ultima? Yeah,
Ultima,
Ultima.
all of the above. Shouldn't work.
Yeah, we've-
really good. Honestly,
Yeah, we've had a ton of like people bring colorless decks to practice, and we're
Yeah.
like, okay, and yeah, they cook kind of hard on it, and we're like, "Ew, Jesus, I did not expect that.
Yeah,
They can come out of the gate real fast.
big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true, very very true.
We actually have another chatter starting to interject there. D-Sphere is
you're
asking, what are your guys' most hated decks to play against? I don't know if Adriel, you want to jump on this one
Off
first?
meta decks. I think
Off
the
meta.
same decks we just talked about, right? Now,
Right, the colorless decks, the Zerta decks.
something I will definitely take the helm on this one right out of the, I know that Adriel's kind of
yeah.
cooking in his mind, but in my opinion, anything that plays blue but doesn't play blue, the whole semi-blue movement,
Semi-blue.
I cannot stand. I can't stand because like I'll sit at a pod, right, and I'll shuffle and I'll look at my hand and I'm like, okay, this is a keepable hand. Like, I look at the pod and there's like a Rog Thras and a cannon. I'm like, okay, cool. There's another turbo player or whatever. And I'm like, all right, guys, remember, you got to keep interaction for, like, let's say the Rock side player. And they both look at each other and they look at me and they're like, oh, we're not playing any interaction. And I'm like, then why play blue? Like, I don't understand. Like, we need help dealing with this. And then, like, it becomes like, if it becomes too popular, I think we're going to see a problem where the turbo players are just going to be like, Jesus take the wheel kind of effect, right? Where they're just going to send.
Yeah.
No, seriously, because it's like I've always played blue because like it's it's just my safety net. It's like I want to be able to have some kind of control over this game, right? Whether it be my own win attempts or stopping somebody else, so I have a chance because I can't rely on anybody else. Just like anything in life, if you have to solely rely on somebody to like basically catch your fall, it's like you gotta rely on yourself, so that's why it's like I like playing blue because I'm just like, okay, at least I have, in my mind, I'm like, okay, at least I have a little bit of control over whatever the outcome is of this game. But yeah, this whole semi-blue movement, I'm just like I get it, I respect it, it's fine, it's funny, but at the end of the day, it's like, especially if I don't learn about it until like turn 2, right? Then it's like, oh shit, I kept I should have kept the police hand then.
Right? I have
like,
to be responsible
now we're
here.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's
I'm
like,
the
oh
adult
crap,
at
now
the
it's
table.
all on me. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, this sucks. Like, I wish we would have like, and I guess for the crowd, it's like if you find yourself in a tournament and you see yourself in these pods where they're like green and blue and whatever, before you even mulligan, just ask everyone like, are you on any interaction? Are you on any interaction? Because if you're not, I got to start, looking at my hand a little differently. Right?
It's a real question now.
Yeah,
that we have to be asking. It's crazy that's where we have to be. You're playing Rog Thras? Are you playing interaction or no? Or or Kefka? Are you playing interaction or no? Like
I'm sure Kefka is, but yeah,
like it would be on interaction. You have to ask now.
Yeah,
and I blame Holly.
Even play to win. Play to
I
win.
blame higher.
Play to win is saying play less interaction, and as play to win says stuff that's going to trend things in that direction. And I think once people start playing more semi-blue and start playing less interaction, these turbo decks are going to run rampant.
You're going to see me and Adriel just take every tournament because I'll switch to Rog size so quick, and Adriel's just going to be like all send it blue farm, and we're just going to be dominating every tournament. Our ad nauseas are going to be like resolving turn 1, and we're like, no one has any interaction.
I think we're coming up to all in summer, baby. All in summer, or excuse me, all in autumn. All in autumn. I thought we were gonna
autumn. That's a good one.
I thought we were gonna go to send it summer, but I think mid range still kind of trailed off there, and it feels like we're going to all in autumn, baby.
Oh my god.
Hashtag all in autumn.
Yeah.
There we go.
Anyway, Adriel, what decks do you hate playing against?
That's a
Besides
hard
time.
question.
He's all whatever JJ's playing.
Well, no. Honestly, I think Time is one of them. I think as a general archetype, I have a extreme distaste for stacks decks in all varieties. Too. It's not that I don't respect the archetype. It's that I think it's inherently flawed, and that you can. I just think stacks, it's very, very difficult to stop 3 other players all at the same time while progressing your game state. Because inevitably one person can find like a crack in the wall of stacks that you've built around them. And then they just win, and then nobody else can do anything because they're stacked out. So it's like, great, awesome. Mm-hmm. So more often than not, I just like, it's just, to me, it's like not really something that I enjoy playing against or having at the table, and that's no disrespect to some of the amazing stacks players that I've played against.
Oh, totally.
I've played against some insane tie-in players. I'm like, dude, this is insane. You're cooking us so hard. It's just not really something that I enjoy. So yeah,
definitely no shade being thrown anywhere. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, in fact, like all it really takes is one bounce, and then the guy that played the bounce like wins, and you're like, oh shit, like I wish we didn't have stacks here because I could interact here, but yeah. It becomes pretty crazy.
It's just always that moment where then people then look at you and they're like, "Can you help?" And it's like, No, I can't.
No, I can't.
I can't help you right now.
Blue
because
player,
of
save
you,
us.
because you
Yeah.
did this to us. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, those are great answers. I really appreciate chat for sending those in for us. Triz and B-Sphere, much appreciated.
Thank you guys. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've got actually we have time for one other chat question here because we're only a little bit ways through the episode. But
Sure.
what decks do you guys think that have the most potential that aren't already established in the community? And this is coming from Driz in chat. We got some good questions here, man. These are some thinkers.
That is a good
These are some
question.
deep thought questions here
Yeah,
this week.
good questions.
I
Chat.
wish I could.
Yeah.
I wish I could talk back with them and have a discussion. Because is the question, what is a commander that like no one knows about that could be something, or something that is like fringe currently that has the potential to be top 10?
I think either or. Anything that's not currently like super representative, but you see, yeah, either or. That's what Drew says in chat. Either or, whatever you think has the potential.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
Okay.
beauty of it being live is that you kind of do get to have a conversation.
Yeah,
That's fair, huh? Yeah.
fair
yeah.
enough. Yeah. Yeah.
Very fair.
I personally, I think just like if we're in the sphere of discussing like send it summer or send it autumn or whatever the moniker
in
that
autumn.
we've yeah, all in autumn, whatever we've decided. Like to me personally, like decks that can operate in that capacity, I think stand to benefit more than other decks currently.
Mhm.
I think the current play pattern for the majority of people is set up a value engine, and if you can get underneath that within the first 3 turns, the game is yours, right? So to me, I think of like turbo breach piles, turbo adnos piles. Maybe I'm just I don't know. Those are the types of decks I like to play anyways. So I feel biased in that way, but like if I had to say, I'd honestly like
I'll
to me,
breach
the
autumn.
yeah, all breach autumn. Like
All
to
breach
me,
autumn.
like the turbo wandering minstrel, but that doesn't care
deck's
about land
sick.
shenanigans.
Yeah.
To me, that deck is awesome, dude. I'm also a huge fan of Terra, massive fan of Terra.
That's the first thing that came to my
Um,
mind. Is Terra.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think Terra is very underexplored, and I don't think someone has fully cracked or solved the deck. But I truly think Terra is awesome, dude. I really, really do. I think it's such an awesome deck. And same thing with Minstrel, man. I think Minstrel is. I actually just leaved it up today, so I think it has the
Hello.
potential to be, quick and fast. I mean, your commander's only 2 mana, like it's like Kinnan, right? Get it out, and then immediately Flare of Denial and Fierce Guardianship is turned online, like so. Yeah, that's what I have to
we've
say
got
about that.
Everything.
we've got a local who has piloted the Wandering Minstrel now for a couple weeks and has been on a terror. He's also currently on Gwenum, but he's also played Ultima and Zuladoc recently too.
All the above.
Damn. Oh, damn.
So-
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really good player, and Wandering Minstrel was kind of where he started into the cEDH kind of tournament play, and he really loves the deck. He has put a lot of heart into it, and it's shown. He does really well with that Wandering Minstrel deck. So I
Very
definitely
nice.
fully support your notion that Wandering Minstrel is really good right now.
It's legit.
I mean, being able to like just like crop rod or even like put in a Boseiju, the one that makes something uncounterable, untapped, and just like, hey, nobody can say shit right now. Like that's
Mhm.
pretty crazy, man. So yeah, I just think there's so many crazy archetypes and like things about it that can be explored that nobody's really talking about. So that's really it's really interesting.
Awesome. Thanks for the question, Driz. Much appreciated.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Well, do we have a little bit more time, Cam? How are we doing?
I mean, I think we're definitely good on time. We have time to chat some more. If you guys want to, if chat wants to throw in some more questions, or we can even just wrap it up here. I know for those of you watching live, we plan on doing some gameplay footage, right, guys? Afterwards, hell yeah, we jam some
Yeah,
games and
right.
stuff. So looking forward to that. So yeah, if chat's got any more questions, we can drop them right here. We'll give you guys a minute or so. If not, then we'll wrap it up.
Got one.
Oh, we've got one from Magician MTG in chat. What's up, Magician?
That was the magic.
So I was just curious, what do you guys like? So I mean, Adriel just talked about playing, Sleeping Up Wandering Minstrel, but what have you guys been playing recently that you guys have had some success with?
Good question.
That's a good question. Me personally, honestly, I've
Both of
been
you,
having
yeah.
I've been having a ton of fun playing Derevi.
Oh, I
okay.
wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
It's so much fun, actually, dude.
Untapping
Crazy
Cradle,
stack
man.
battles I think I saw.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the deck is
Yep.
awesome, dude. And it's funny because like I looked at this list like years ago. I've always looked at Derevi and I'm like, there's no way I'm ever playing that. But it's funny because like in a casual sense, like I actually love Bant as a color pie. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm just like JJ probably knows it. Like my two favorite colors are green and blue and always have been. So being
You
able
want to
to
know
like
because he
Blue
loves
farm.
Breach.
Right?
because
I
I
know.
also love Breach so much. Yeah.
He's like, I love Simic, but Breach.
Yeah. But that's why Wandering Minstrel is cool, man. I can put the two.
Yeah,
Yes, you can. Ooh,
That's right.
yes.
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
right.
What about you,
man.
JJ?
I've been experimenting with various things. Right now, I've actually finally kind of put back together Imna and Thrasios after a long time.
Ooh,
okay.
okay. TNT.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
What I ended up doing because like I'm not sure. Like I remember like before. I think this might have even been before I even met Adriel. I was playing Timna Thrasios. Mine was just. I think I just literally called it mid range hell or something like that, or I think it was called like the deck was called like mid range AF, and it was really just full of just stuff to kill people. Like one of my favorite cards in there was what was it? It was Kimball, Consult of
Oh, yeah.
Allocation,
Hell yeah.
Love
and
that card.
I was in a tournament where somebody Gilded Draked it, and I was like, okay, like I don't care where it is. I just want it on the table. So I was able to copy it. So there was two on the board.
Yes.
And then there was a guy playing Malcolm Kedis, and they were like, I can't win. Because they're like, I would send it here, but I'm losing like a bunch of life every time I cast. Because that whole deck back in the day was like 55 instances because they were just trying to churn through their deck and stuff. And trying to find Glen Horde, just trying to like spin their wheels. So he's like, F it, I'm gonna try anyway. So he tries to go for it, and he's losing like so much life with every instant sorcery he casts, and it was the funniest thing. He ended up killing himself because he just couldn't do it. I think he played like 10 things and died. So that was pretty funny. But this is not that deck. What I basically did with this is I just kind of carbon copied the tree farm list that's been going around. And because I want to play it, I want to see what it's all about, and then I'm probably gonna make some changes. Like I already don't like Charismatic Conqueror as a card. Like I've never liked that card. I think it's terrible. And I think it just needs to run more interaction because right now the deck's only on like 19 instances, and that's even with tutors and crop rot and stuff. So that doesn't leave a lot of room for interaction. And again, I mean, I just talked about how I like to have that interactive suite of cards. You know, not only to protect my win, but also to ensure that I do not lose the game to some thing, you know. So I think I want to experiment with the deck a little bit more and really make it my own, just like it used to be. But times have changed, you know.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
We've got a guy who is actually going to be switching to that tree farm list this week. He it's the Nadir Thrasios player, the same guy also who plays Terra. Just played 10 games on Terra and is wanting to just try some other stuff, and so he's going to be doing that tree farm list. So
Sure.
Nice.
eager to have it here in our meta too.
Hell yeah.
Very nice.
Oh,
Very
yeah,
nice.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for the questions for us that we have for you guys. Do you have any questions for on the other end for us? Flipping it on you guys. Oh,
Flipping the script. It reminds me of like Step Brothers, where he's like, "We're actually going to interview you now."
right. Yeah, we're actually interviewing.
He's like, "How much do you make after taxes?" And he's like, "I'm not comfortable." He's like, "We're asking the questions here."
Exactly.
I guess from at least me to you guys, what are some of your guys' goals and stuff? Like, where do you guys see yourself taking this? You know, like I know that you guys have been doing the podcast and stuff, and that's been going well for you. I see a lot of your I like to call them like on the street interviews where like you take people outside, you kind of talk to them about rounds, decks, how they feel their deck is performing, stuff like that. Like and I've been watching a lot of that, and I think you guys have been killing it. So yeah, I guess my question to you guys is just like, you know, what's your guys' ultimate goal? You know, like what else do you guys see yourself doing as well, like with this channel? Like, does it stop at just these two, or do you guys plan on taking it further, you know?
Well, go ahead, Cam.
Oh, I mean, I was just gonna say that's we're trying to kind of fill a niche here. We've been kind of just making content and figuring out our path as we go because we just know that we love Magic and want to make content. The on the
Sure.
street stuff is definitely something we're shooting for. We really think that we can fill a niche of there's tons of gameplay footage, there's tons of other stuff. So we're trying to focus on like interviews, tournament reports, kind of the living embodiment of cEDH. We want to interview tournament grinders. We want to interview content creators. We want to be a part of the, continue being a part of the California circuit. We just kind of want to get people more exposed to cEDH and the fact that it is a much more approachable format. You guys mentioned earlier that, when casuals come up and you're like, oh, we're playing cEDH, they're like, whoa, 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 sorry, my bad. Didn't mean to come over here. We kind of want to change that stigma and we want it to be very approachable.
I just force them to play.
Yeah, and like the feedback we've been getting is that like, hey, we like that you guys are just a bunch of dudes hanging out playing cEDH and just experiencing the format. So that's kind of the niche we're trying to fill is interviews, deck techs, and just kind of growing this community. I mean, Magician, you can piggyback on top of any of that.
Yeah. So I mean, we really enjoy doing the interviews because we want to be able to highlight players. We want to be able to grow our community, and we feel like a good way of doing that is getting people in front of the camera and letting them introduce themselves, letting them gush about what they play, and because they put a lot of time and effort and money into their decks, and give them that platform to be able to spread the word about their deck. And then also interviewing content creators like yourselves, and then we also kind of started off with a few of our episodes doing introductions to cEDH because we definitely want to grow more and bring more people into the format because it's a great format and we want to cultivate that that player base of people who are scared of cEDH or feel like, oh, it's just going to be a Thoracle decon game, or just everyone's just gonna be making infinite mana. But I mean, yeah, it does have that stuff in it too. But it's like it's still the fun about doing all of that and showing that it's not just a game that's going to end on turn 2. So we really enjoy that. We want to grow those players as well. So, and then also we have a small segment that we're doing on Instagram, which is our Now That's a Combo. And and so we're doing a little short form content with that as well, and we're going to be using that as like a platform to show players who again are getting into cEDH like that's a cool combo. I want to play that kind of combo, and then getting conversations starting with that with like, oh, what kind of deck can I play that in? What kind of commanders are able to play those combos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
how to interact? How do we interact with these combos we see now? Like stuff like that.
Sure.
There's especially now with semi-blue and all these big green decks. There's a lot of these combos that like in Dargo Timna, and like there's just a lot of viable combos people don't know about. So yeah, that's a goal of that segment as well. So thanks for the question, JJ. Great question, man. It's almost like you're conducting the interview.
I mean, I was just curious, I was like, oh, let's see what these guys are all about.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for the question. I think unless Magician, you have anything else to talk about, or you gentlemen at the cookbook, if you guys have anything else to bring in, if not, then I think that'll wrap up the show.
We're excited. We're very grateful that you guys were able to come on and talk with us, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys at Fishbowl and then also the California circuit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much for having us on.
Absolutely. And for those of you who just dropped into chat and stuff, we're going to be doing some gameplay footage with the Cardboard Cookbook after this. So we'll take probably about a 5-minute break and then we'll jump into some gameplay and whatnot. But yeah, that's going to wrap up the show for us. Thank you everybody who joined us. We really appreciate you being live here with us tonight. Make sure and tune in every other Thursday here at twitch.tv/Camtastic for the live show. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe at our YouTube. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, do the whole thing with the Cardboard Cookbook as well. We promise you will not be disappointed with their content. We appreciate all the support and thank you all so much. Until next time, stay magical.